I turned the company storage room into a bedroom, just to save money, to keep anyone from discovering my secret. I pretended to be the first one to show up at work every day, but I didn't expect that today. Because of his long-term insomnia, my boss actually came to the office late at night to work. I happened to run into him when I came out to use the bathroom, so I quickly hid. But right then the boss suddenly turned on the lights. To avoid being seen, I had no choice but to crawl slowly across the floor. Thankfully my hiding spot was really well covered, so he never noticed me. But because he worked all night, I couldn't sleep a single minute, and had zero energy the next day. But when evening came and everyone else left the office, the boss still refused to leave. That made me extremely anxious. It wasn't until late into the night that he finally went home. Once I saw that, I hurried to clean up and get ready to rest. But just as I lay down, the boss suddenly returned to the office, and walked straight into the storage room where I was hiding, catching me right as I was falling asleep. Facing his questions, I could only tell him everything about my situation. I thought he'd kick me out of the company, but to my surprise he was incredibly kind. He allowed me to stay in the office for the time being, but told me I needed to find a place as soon as possible. Then one day, because of work, I spent the whole day outside working in heavy rain. When I got back to the office I found there was a blackout. Luckily the boss hadn't left yet. Seeing how miserable I looked, he brought me home to take a hot shower. After I came out of the bathroom, I wanted to thank him for taking care of me, so I used whatever ingredients he had, and planned to make him a late night meal. At that moment the boss still couldn't fall asleep because of his insomnia. While I cooked, I hummed softly to myself. I didn't expect my voice to become his lullaby, and without realizing it he fell asleep. When he woke up the next morning, he was shocked, and guessed that maybe the sounds of my cooking cured his insomnia, so he hired a housekeeper, whose job was to make him a late night meal. But the housekeeper's cooking still couldn't make him fall asleep. He even asked the housekeeper to cook while singing, but it still didn't work at all. Feeling completely defeated, the boss returned to the office, only to see me happily eating instant noodles. I warmly invited him to join me, but he shook his head, exhausted in both body and mind. He collapsed onto the couch, and just a few minutes later, he fell fast asleep. At that moment he was completely convinced that only I could help him sleep, so he moved my suitcase into his home, and told me that as long as I made him a late night meal every day, I could live in his house for free. Hearing that, I happily agreed.